Happy Father's Day to you.
Happy Father's Day to you, Maggie. Yeah, and to the, I guess happy Father's Day to the father of our country, the only father that we recognize, which is
Jed Bartlett.
Josiah Bartlett. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jed Bartlett. Mm-hmm. So should we just hop right in and talk about our favorite founding father of the best political administration we've ever seen?
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that political daddy.
Let's do that. Political daddy. Should I clap for our political daddy?
Give a round of applause for political daddy, Jed.
Political
Daddy Bartlett.
Ooh, political daddy Bartlett. Who's your daddy? Ooh, my political daddy. It's political daddy Bartlett.
Ooh, I love about your daddy.
1, 2, 3.
Hi, I'm Maggie.
And I'm Amanda.
And we're sisters in law.
And we're watching the beloved political procedural, The West Wing. It's a show so nice, I've watched it twice.
And a show so great, I'm watching it late. Thanks so much for tuning in.
It's only show fans. Only show fans.
This is season 1, episodes 9 through 12 of The West Wing. I have a brief for us, Maggie.
Perfect.
you
And I
believe
hope
that?
your brief is from these 4 episodes and not almost entirely on the next episode that we were covering, because
No, I kept it light and tight.
because last week I gave a brief and I said I'm not going to talk about episode 9, and then my entire brief was episode 9 because it was fresh in my head and I was thinking about it, and I'm embarrassed.
You also said that it's nice to see that our leaders aren't perfect, and you being a leader in the podcast industry, particularly on podcasts that are covering the West Wing, we need to show a little bit of your imperfections to all the listeners so that they understand we're not perfect either.
Thank
and that's
you.
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're not okay. We're okay.
We're not okay.
We're not okay. Okay, you want a brief?
Yeah, I want to hear your brief.
Okay, I wrote one. Let me find it really quick. I'm sorry, I'm not prepared.
No, I mean, you
actually
are
did.
prepared. You wrote a brief. That's amazing.
I wrote a brief. Okay. Let's see here. Where is it?
Amazing brief. That's what I thought you were going to start singing.
That's what I say when my panties come out of the dryer and they haven't been eaten by the dryer. Sorry. Cut that, Amanda.
Keep it in. You got panties to spare.
Ooh. A lot can happen in 4 short hours when other countries and politicians decide to flex on their power. Leo's former drug use is brought to light, and when Josh goes to defend him, he puts up a fight. The first Christmas episode is one for the books, but there was some Sorkin drama behind the scenes that might make you take a second look. And President Bartlett has been hiding something big, an illness that could change everything if the wrong people start to dig. 12 episodes in, and it keeps getting better. I can't wait to hear Maggie's takes in the form of a podcast love letter.
Dear only show fans, Amanda's brief summed it up perfectly and left nothing to spare. Oh, how I wish I could watch all of you in one day, but I must pace it out because it's sweeter that way. That's my love
Is
letter.
that a review? That's a
That's my
love letter.
love letter.
Okay.
Yeah, wow, boy howdy, were these 4 intense episodes.
These are really 4 intense episodes. I have a lot to tell you about these episodes after you tell me your thoughts. So I want to give you a lot of like BTS. It's behind the scenes for those who don't know, because there's a lot going on behind the scenes that I think that would be really interesting to you. So I want to hear.
Okay.
Ooh, boy, these were 4 wham bam thank you ma'ams if I've ever heard them.
Whoop, whoop. Okay.
Whoop, whoop, whoop,
First of
whoop.
all, you mentioned in your brief we get a first Christmas episode, which also brings me to my first deposition for you.
It's not even 5 minutes in.
I know, girl. I have to ask, though. I have to ask. You're
Okay,
at the White
let's hear it.
House. You are the president, the first lady, whatever you are. You're the one who gets to pick this decor out. What's your
okay.
theme for your first White Christmas in the White House?
You know, I might do like a Melakalikimaka, here's the thing to say on a bright Hawaiian Christmas day. That's the island greeting that they send to you from a land where palm trees sway. I'm going to stop there because that's all that we can give the listeners. So I think I would do like a tiki lounge.
I love it. You know why? Hawaii is a state. It's the 50th state.
It is, and I think people would be expecting something like traditional with a little bit of an edge. You know, this is how we're going to make our mark, our first year, and I want to keep it. I want to keep it real cool because Washington D.C. is no joke in the winter, and why not light it up a little bit? You know,
I
why not
love
bring
this,
the
Amanda.
heat? Right?
As soon as I saw this episode, I thought Amanda would do a fantastic job decorating the White House, and you have not let me down with just the teaser. In fact, I would run on that. If you were going to run for president, I would run on a couple important things, you know, like healthcare, whatever is important, but then mostly
Mary Tikmas, just Mary
Mary
Tikmas.
Tikmas. Let's bring some.
Mary Tiki
Let's
Mas.
bring
Yeah.
some tiki to the White House.
Can I tell you that
Waitiki.
the the best thing I've heard all week is that you think that I would do a good job decorating the White House. I appreciate your vote of confidence. Because I've always wanted to go and volunteer, because you can sign up and go through a process and volunteer to just decorate the White House. I'm waiting it out a few more years, and then I would like to go and help decorate. I really want to do that. I want to go and help decorate the White House.
You would do so well.
You don't get to choose the design, but I think it would be fun to see it behind the scenes because I love putting up Christmas decorations. So thank you. I've never thought about a tiki Christmas, but this just sort of came to me, you know? What
I'm
would you
inspired. I mean, forget whatever I was gonna do. This is what I would do: a tiki Christmas. No, I take that back.
do? A tiki Christmas?
I'd do a nutcracker theme, and then I'd put nuts, but I'd put nuts of our like political enemies, and I'd put them in the mouth, and then I'd be like, "Oh, Merry Christmas!" And everyone would
Okay,
laugh because it'd be so hokey.
I take back my tiki Christmas. That's what I'm doing. I'm cracking nuts in the White House. That's
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
First female
Yes.
president. Well,
Oh my
hopefully not,
gosh.
but first woman president. I'm like, I'm coming in and I'm cracking nuts this Christmas. Everything you were afraid
Yeah.
of. And I'm on my
Hell
period.
yeah.
You know, they'd be
Hell
like
yeah.
overwhelmed. I'd love it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay, that was just an
Please.
important thing
For
to
the
get out of the way.
For the listeners that are just tuning in live, I will cut this. Scout. No, sir. Off of the stove. Scout, come on. He's literally jumped. I'm so sorry. Hang on.
For some context, as Amanda walks away, Amanda is fostering, but only like vacation fostering for a family that is fostering this dog Scout, and he is a big boy puppy boy, kind of like a Marmaduke, I would say, but a Marmaduke with big pointy ears, cute as heck, weighs more than my 3 children combined, and apparently likes to cook. So if you're looking for a dog, Scout would be your pick if you're looking for a big, goofy, Marmaduke dog who likes to hop up and sizzle up a little pan of steak or something. Don't know what he's cooking on the stove, but I would imagine it would be hard to crack eggs with big dog paws. So I'm not quite sure where he's fostered through. Scout is also a popular name for foster dogs, but if you look up big foster dogs named Scout in Dallas, Texas. How's it going?
You trying to get my foster dog adopted for
I
me?
did. I did. I don't know enough information about him, but you know, I think I did a pretty
He's in
good
his
pitch.
kennel. He's in
Okay.
his kennel.
Sweet kennel trained boy.
I'm so
That's
sorry about that.
All right.
Okay,
Okay.
Amanda.
Another big thing that's happens during Christmas is that there is a hate crime that happens right on Christmas Eve. They have to like talk about it. It's a gay teen in Minneapolis. President Bartlett is talking to these young children who are singing, who are like there at the Christmas tree, and they're asking him questions, and he's just really yucking it up. They're eating it up. And then he gets pulled to the side and told that the teen has died. And Kyle and I were watching this, and I was like, this is just like George Bush getting news of 9/11. I mean, not just like it, but you know what I mean. Bunch of children, horrible news. How do you put on a brave face when you just have like a bunch of little kids looking at you?
Was George Bush with a lot of kids when he heard about 9/11?
Yeah, he was reading to them. Have you not seen those pictures?
I guess I didn't know this. Am I 2 years old when I found this out?
He was in a school reading to like a first grade class, like reading them a book, and then the Secret Service leans over and they whisper something in his ear, and he just has to like continue the book.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah. Gotta look up those
Wow.
pictures.
I'll have to look at those up. We've talked about where he was when Osama bin Laden was caught. He was eating at Rise, the restaurant,
Oh, yeah.
and he got the phone call. And he talks about it on like national TV. He was like, I was at Rise. You get it? Rise, like a souffle. It just rises.
That's the important thing. Rise is phenomenal. Love that restaurant.
It is.
Okay, anyways.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I could share some behind the scenes knowledge with you.
I had no idea. That's real political knowledge.
Yeah, real political knowledge. The other important thing that's happening in these 4 episodes, it's kind of like an arc throughout, is Leo's rehab stint from 7 years ago. And it's about to break because there's this guy on the other side, and he's like, 1 in 3 staffers at the White House is on drugs. So they're going to open a whole investigation to try and disprove this. And then Josh realizes, like, no, he's coming for specifically Leo, because Leo has a history of alcoholism and Valium use. So he was in rehab for that. And wow, this is like sending everyone into a tizzy. Everyone. They're going to go talk to Lori to try and dig up dirt on Republicans she's slept with. And she goes, I sleep, like, you think that, like, Democrats don't sleep with call girls? Like, you jerks. They're really mean to her, by the way.
They are so inappropriate to her.
Josh Lyman got a little slap on the wrist from me for his behavior with Lori.
He does come back and say, I'm so sorry. That was so rude. I shouldn't have done it. But he shouldn't have done it in the first place.
Yeah, control yourself just a wee bit more.
Yeah.
Like, they're so trying to go defend Leo, and Leo doesn't even want them to defend him, which is also kind
And they're
of...
doing it in spite of Leo's saying, no, don't do it. And also, like, in spite of everybody else. Like, there's no respect or regard for anybody else involved in, like, we're here to defend Leo. It doesn't matter who gets in our way. If you're in our way or you're not going to help us, sorry about you.
And they end up also doing that. Sam writes a I stand by Leo letter on behalf of President Bartlett. And Leo's like, do not do that. Do not give it to him. Like, don't do that. Like, he's the president. He shouldn't be mixed up in this. Sam does it anyway. And Leo says to them point blank, this is not what I wanted.
Yeah. Depo, for you, what would you do if you were told, do not try and defend me? I've got this. I'm on my own.
I think we know this from when we watched Young Sheldon. No, what was it? Young Sherlock. When we watched Young Sherlock, we had a similar discussion where a girl was stabbed, and she said, go on without me. And the girl did. She went out without her. And I said, yeah, I would do that. I would leave you. But I would leave you first with Facebook Live. Like, like our YouTube Live, so that people could watch and monitor you. Yeah. So I feel like I would keep checking in on Leo, but I wouldn't.
That's fair.
I wouldn't defend him publicly if he didn't want me to.
That's fair. Time out real quick. Can you hear that dog?
I could. Scout is singing, which is another feature of Scout that you could have in your home, a singing, cooking dog. Can he come sit next to you?
Oh, he doesn't like sit. Hang on again. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Let's keep going. Feeling good.
What would you do in this situation? Is this the same for you as the girl who was stabbed in Young Sherlock? And you were like, of course I wouldn't leave her even though she told me to. Would you still
I mean, this is different. The stabbing would never leave that person. Like, Are you kidding me? If he was absolutely adamant about it, I would respect that and be like, nope, I'm not going to do it. Because is the juice worth the squeeze if he's saying, it's not one of those situations where he's like, Y'all don't need to defend me, but I'd be okay if you did. Kind of like, you don't
Exactly.
need to get me a birthday present, but I'm not going to be mad if you surprise me.
Right.
He is adamant. Do not get the president involved.
Yes. For good reason, too. Thinking strategy. Poor Leo, though. It was 7 years ago, and it's like, chill out.
Well, the problem is he was in office. He had a position when he was going through all of that. He was secretary of something. Was he the HUD secretary or something? Like, he had a role, and I
in a
can't remember what
previous
it was.
administration.
Yes, and so that was the problem, is that he wasn't just, Leo hanging out. He was Leo hanging out in an administration.
Just speaking of Leo, continuing, the very last episode, episode 12, is State of the Union, and it's prep. And I want to talk about that, of course, because there were many, many things that came up. But at the very end, the agriculture secretary is the one is the designated survivor, right? He's the one who, if everyone at the State of the Union gets blown to bits, he becomes president. And he gives President Bartlett the sweetest gift. It's like an original copy of it's like a translation of the Constitution into Latin. And he highlights a phrase that's like about the State of the Union. This man is a dear. This man is precious. This agriculture secretary is my agriculture secretary. You know,
he
like
is.
this is who I want thinking about the farmers.
So, I'm a big fan of the television show Designated Survivor with Kiefer Sutherland. I've watched that 3 times. And he was the HUD secretary, so kind of along the same line. So he was Housing and Urban Development secretary.
Yeah. Oh,
And you would have been like, that's my HUD secretary. Same thing about this is my agricultural secretary.
Yeah. And the reason they picked him is because the other secretaries are more popular, will get better press if they're there. So it's like this guy, no one cares if he's there or not.
Yeah.
Would he be a good president? Yes, he would, because he gives great gifts,
Yeah. And I think that's probably an important trait in a president, is giving great gifts. And not just giving great gifts, it's because they are thoughtful and they're intentional, so they're good listeners, and that's actually what we want in a president.
Yes, that's what
Gifts,
I want. That's what I
bonus.
want in a staffer that I hire to do the gifts, because I'm
Absolutely.
I don't know.
You kind of get your hands full.
I just am not. Well, that is my question for you. You've said many times before, and this isn't really a question. It's more like a thank you, Amanda. A thank you to you, because you've said, like, I would want you as my chief of staff, right? You've said that.
Yeah, I've said that many times, yes.
Many times. And then I started blushing in episode 12 because President Bartlett says to the ag secretary, get yourself a best friend who is smarter, who you would trust with your life to be your chief of staff.
That's why I said it.
And I said, Amanda, that's the sweetest thing you've ever said to me via a TV show.
Yeah, I couldn't do it directly. It was so much easier for me to do it in front of a large audience, both on YouTube and in the podcast world. So that's how much I like you, Maggie.
Wow. Thank you.
And I don't take it back. After seeing that episode for the 3rd or 4th time and hearing him say that line, I don't take it back. You're still my chief of staff.
Well, I knew you had already seen the West Wing 2 times before you told me that. So I was like, she really means that.
I do.
Thank you.
I think what's so interesting is every time I brought it up, you haven't said, I want you to be my chief of staff. And that is fine, because what I don't want in a president is someone who lies.
No.
And you want to pick the right person for the job.
I do think you are smarter and better at a lot of things than me. I don't want you as my chief of staff because I don't want to be in a position where I have a chief of staff, It's more like that. Scout
come here.
agrees. Scout says, you're right, Maggie. You should not be in a leadership position in that capacity. You're a chief of staff kind of gal.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would
else you
have
got?
you. I would have you as chief of staff
That's so sweet.
if I needed one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk then about the State of the Union.
Let's talk about the State of the Union.
Okay. State of the Union is obviously super important. And President Bartlett is rehearsing, and the teleprompter, the speech is riddled with typos.
So many.
So relatable. Am I right?
Yeah, am I right? We saw our last reel that said Greece as Greece,
That was Riverside.
Greece.
That was Riverside. And it's too
True.
hard to go in and edit it, you know?
Yeah, it's too hard.
I was hoping people would comment on it, like,
Yeah,
"Oh, what? You don't
I
even
did.
know." Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, but just like riddled with typos. Really relate to that. Thought that was great. President Bartlett looks like shit. He's sweating a lot. Everyone's like, "Oh, we gotta get him some water." Like he's got to,
Yeah.
tighten this up.
Brilliant color in his face. Yeah.
Toby is like, everyone's saying big government is dead, which sucks because we're like trying to do a lot of big things with the government and everyone's giving him feedback that he's not into. And then President Bartlett goes into the Oval Office and he faints. And the medical examiner says he has the flu. No one is masked up because this is 1999. People are just like, if we get the flu, we get the flu.
Yeah.
His wife comes
They get
back.
him back. They get him back to the room, but the wife cancels her trip. Dr. Bartlett.
Dr.
She comes
Bartlett.
whipping around.
Cancels her trip. I thought Dr. Bartlett was a PhD doctor. Nope. She's an MD.
She's an
MD.
MD.
MD Dr.
Big time
Bartlett.
MD.
She comes back and she's like, is this like the time in Nantucket? Is this like the time at my parents' house? And I'm like, what? The flu? This man gets the flu a lot. Something sus about this. And it is. He doesn't have the flu. Or maybe he does. But he also has MS.
Multiple sclerosis, relapsing, recurring.
Oh, my God. That's a... And
That was probably that really probably took you for a spin
I
because
thought
that
that
was
if...
out of
Yeah.
left field.
Well,
They
first
did
of
not
all,
tee
I
that
thought
up
it was...
at all.
Yeah, at first I thought it was going to be like a slow reveal. I was like, something suspicious, but no, it like came out. So for the next 100 episodes, we know he has MS, and who else, we don't know. But that really threw me. And it gets heightened and it gets worse during stressful times. And during this time, there's a war in Kashmir. There's this eccentric British guy who's trying to like get him, to know what to do. And then there's also the State of the Union, and there's just being the president. So it was,
Yeah. It's also, like being the president, like it's heightened during stressful times, like for 4 years at a time. I mean,
yeah, you see
know?
presidents when they enter versus when they leave. They look like they've
oh gosh.
seen a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of
You've seen some
grays.
of them that entered that look like they've already seen a lot and shouldn't even be in office.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. We need some young
Yeah.
blood in the Oval, you know?
We could use some young blood.
We could use
Get some
someone who
young
could go on a
bloods.
bike ride, and then crash into a tree. We could do that.
Yeah.
Do you
Oh,
think,
like,
like President Bartlett, do you think he crashed into the tree, though, because of the MS?
I don't know.
Or because he's clumsy?
I mean, I've seen the whole show, so I don't know.
I don't think it'll ever come up again. Interesting.
What else you got?
Well, that's the big one. Oh, a couple other
That's the big
things. There's a debate about Y2K and when it starts, because technically Toby's like the new millennia starts in 2001, but Sam is trying to get people excited about 2000, and so they're talking
Yes.
about that. Where were you for Y2K? I think I know this.
I was at my friend Katie's ranch. I was in college. I had driven down to my little white Honda Civic from my parents' house up here to Houston, right outside of Houston, and I opened up the trunk, and my mom had packed the trunk of my little white Honda Civic to the brim with the Y2K care package. There were canned goods and boxes of cereal. There was rice, no way to cook it. There was tons of toilet paper, paper towels. There was extra clothes. There was like a 3-pack of underwear. I mean, the whole 9 yards. I had literally a care package packed to the brim in that Honda Civic. You know my mother, your mother-in-law, and this probably is not surprising to hear.
Yeah. Do you think that your mother and my mother-in-law and your father and my father-in-law were like very nervous and like at home alone for Y2K, or were they out celebrating? They were just nervous about you not having enough rice.
I don't know. That's a good question. We should ask them where they were.
Yeah.
They're starting to watch West Wing again, and so they can listen to the podcast.
Perfect. Excellent. They can write in with their answer.
They sure can. Where were you on Y2K?
I was at like my hometown did a big Y2K event, and so my middle school
Okay.
learned like sign language for Auld Lang Syne, and we tried to we performed it.
Okay.
So we were in a big
Love it.
like field house with
Not worrying about the power going out.
No one was worried.
No one was worried.
No one was
Not
worried.
worried about that.
No.
Not worried about that.
Not a care in the
Yeah.
world. Just all lang syne. Anyways, another thing that happened is the ceiling falls on Josh Lyman's head. This is my last thing. Okay, ceiling falls on two things actually. Ceiling falls on his head, and Donna's talking to him, and Donna talks about how one time Josh showed up in the middle of the night drunk and yelling at cats in her apartment. Does this mean that they have hooked up, or does it mean that he just crosses the line with his staffers and goes to their apartment when he has something to talk about at like 3 a.m. and yells at their cats? Okay, you can't tell me.
I can't tell you.
I think either one is inappropriate.
I would agree with that.
Last thing is,
Oh, what do you got?
oh
You got another
wait,
one?
no, what were we gonna say? You have some hot
No.
goss?
Go
You have
ahead.
hot goss? No,
No,
give
go
me the
ahead.
hot goss. Give me
No,
the.
I'm going to give you a hot goss at the end. I want to hear the rest of your thoughts.
The
and
other
then I'm
thing
gonna
is
give you the
about
hot
the
goss.
Supreme Court, right? They think they got the Supreme Court justice in the bag. They're like, he's an easy confirmation, but he has some privacy questions, like where he doesn't think that people are entitled to privacy, which honestly, now that we're in 2026, is like, guess what's going to happen down the line? No one's going to have any privacy, right? But at the time, I remember people cared about privacy and it was important, and you didn't want to
something that
have
you
a bunch
had.
of stuff being invaded. So they go with a different Supreme Court justice who like doesn't have
trying.
a traditional track. Right. They nominate him. They
Mendoza.
officially nominate him. Which I loved. I loved that justice's story and
Yeah.
how it all tied together.
Yeah. Okay, you want the hot goss?
Give me the hot.
Here's what I've got. The Arlington funeral scene in the Christmas episode with the vet, right? So we had a vet that was found. He died of the winter weather, and he was wearing a coat that had Toby's business card in it. That Toby had donated that coat to the Goodwill, and so they called Toby, thinking Toby knew him. He didn't. Toby ends up using the president's name and getting a full military burial for him. And the Pentagon was actually so moved by the script's portrayal of a homeless Korean war vet that they gave Sorkin extraordinary access. Like that Marine Honor Guard, the chaplain, all of the uniform people that you see, they're all actually U.S. Armed Forces, and they did all of their actual duties. So it was very unheard of, but they basically said, we're going to let you do the whole kit and caboodle. So those are not actors. Those are all armed. They're all are like armed forces that were doing that for that scene.
Oh, that makes me want to cry.
I know. Isn't that really great? That was really cool. But here's what's also interesting. In Excelsis Deo won 3 Emmys. Outstanding Writing for Sorkin and Rick Cleveland. Outstanding Supporting Actor for Richard Schiff, Toby. And then plus directing recognition. Okay? It's widely regarded as like one of the greatest episodes of television in a long time. Definitely of The West Wing. Like that is a big episode. There was a Sorkin-Cleveland Emmy feud. Rick Cleveland is the other writer. So when they won for writing, Sorkin spoke at the Emmys, and Cleveland later wrote a piece in the Writers Guild magazine saying he was furious because the homeless vet storyline was based on his own father, who was a Korean War vet who died homeless. Sorkin then posted anonymously under Benjamin, who is his middle name, on a TV message board claiming that he wrote most of the episode and only gave Cleveland the credit as a courtesy. So there was like a very big behind the scenes drama, and Sorkin was a real big jerk about it.
Oh my God. The whole episode
Yeah.
is about like being so moved and empathetic that you bend over backwards to support people who have gone through great tragedy. And then Sorkin was like, but not me. Mine. Oh my God.
Yep. I know. A couple of other things. The MS reveal was like an accident because Sorkin wanted to have him bedridden for a medical reason, and he didn't want it to be the flu. So he was like, maybe he has MS. And then after he like did it and it became part of the episode, he immediately regretted it because it becomes a through line. Obviously, I don't want to spoil it, but MS doesn't just go away like the flu. So it is something that comes up again. So it's
That's
kind of an afterthought.
funny, not funny, but funny because when Kyle and I were watching it, he was like, gosh, they must not have thought that they were going to have so many seasons, because that's a
for
big bomb to drop
disease to have.
in the middle of season 1.
Right? Last one I have for you. There's a couple others, but these are the ones that I think are important. CJ's goldfish that Danny gave her that's in the bowl. The goldfish bowl is an Easter egg. So her fish Gale is living in a bowl whose decorations change to match each episode's plot. So in Excelsius Deo, it has a Christmas tree. In the episode, I think 12, He Shall, from time to time, it has tiny podium and flags.
Yeah, I saw
So
that.
what's funny is that when I was reading that, it said that Gale the goldfish's bowl is an Easter egg. And I went back and looked at one of the episodes to look at the bowl because I thought it was an actual Easter egg and not and not like Easter egg, like a Taylor Swift Easter egg.
The fishbowl. I once won a goldfish at Carnival, Monroe County Carnival. And I was so excited, and I brought him home, and then my mom took really, really good care of this fish. But one day my dad was in charge of cleaning the tank, and he really wanted to do a good job, and he cleaned it with bleach. The fish died.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah. Of course it did. Of course it did.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sweet fish.
Dang, Bill.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But those little bowls,
Yeah.
cute.
They could be Easter eggs,
Yeah,
apparently.
they could be shaped like Easter. What is a circle if not egg shaped?
An Easter egg.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What is a sphere?
Let me see if there's any other hot goss that I have for you.
Well,
on
there
this
were
one.
some
I
hot
think-
kisses too, which happened in the show. Mallory smooches Sam. Danny Kincannon gets a schmooch out of CJ, which I know that as a real life human, that actor is a garbage person, but I really do enjoy the chemistry of the two of them in the show. And I'm just saying that because I will be expressing excitement for those moments, and I don't want people to think, oh, but you can't do that. It's like this is a fictional world, and this happened a long time ago. So I'm just saying that.
Yeah. Yeah. We recognize it. Timothy Busfield. He's a bad dude.
But Danny Kincannon,
Interesting character.
interesting character.
Interesting character. We hit it hard, Maggie. These 4 episodes were really, really good. And I just, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. It just keeps getting better.
I cannot
It truly does. I love that you already love it this much. Is Kyle loving it? Kyle, my brother here.
Oh,
husband?
yeah. Yeah, we're always like, West
Yeah.
Wing? West Wing?
West Wing? West Wing?
Yeah.
You want to watch West Wing tonight?
You want to West Wing?
West Wing?
You gotta watch some West Wing.
West Wing? Love it. I love it.
I love it, I love it, I love it.
I was thinking maybe just if you had a little bit of time, we could take a trip to Prediction Town.
Oh, yeah. How are we going to go this time?
I mean, I'm happy to hop back on a train.
Oh, yeah. Let's
Kinda
hop
throw
on
it
the
back a
train.
little bit.
Let's go on the
Should we hop
metro,
back
but
on
I
the
think
train?
it sounds like a steam train. You want to go
It
on?
does. Yeah, let's do it.
Choo, chugga, 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 choo. Next stop, the
Next
White
stop,
House.
the Pentagon. We were close.
Those are close together, right? No.
The Pentagon and the White House?
Are they?
They're closer than the Pentagon and, the Statue of Liberty.
That's true.
Yeah, the Pentagon and the White House are close.
Everything's
They're close enough.
close.
Everything's close.
If you
It's all
just
relative.
believe.
Yeah.
Okay, here are my predictions. CJ and Danny Kincannon, that was not a one-time kiss to get out of her system. It is
Okay.
very much in her system, and she is going to go on more dates with Danny Kincannon.
Okay.
I think this Leo thing and the president supporting Leo is like, I think he was probably in the right saying, don't do that. Don't release that statement. But of course, Bartlett's going to do it. And then now he's going to get dragged into this muck and it's going to soil his presidency. I'm glad we have a resolution with Kashmir. I'm going to just say that I think that that's the end of it. No more problems. I think that the ambassador guy from Great Britain is going to get it fixed, and that's the last we hear of that conflict. Not to say there won't be other conflicts.
Sure.
President Bartlett, we have this MS diagnosis. I don't think season 1 is going to have that released to the public, but I think that we're going to have to see another episode
Okay.
in season 1. We have 12 more episodes?
I think so. Yeah, there's 22, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe 24, something like that. There's a lot of episodes.
Yeah. I think that we have to see another episode. Lori is going to get in. Is she already in law school? She's going to go up for the bar.
Okay.
And that's how she's going to come back, because there's going to be a question of her character, and Sam's going to have to speak to it or something. And then that's going to be, drum.
Drum, 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 drum.
Drum, 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 drum. I think Josh Lyman has, in fact, hooked up with his staffer at 3 a.m. and yelled at her cats while he's drunk.
Okay.
And I think that it's time for him to make an honest woman out of her.
Okay. His staffer, you mean Donna?
Donna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think they will get romantic. Maybe not this season. Maybe that's later play. Maybe it'll be the next episode. Who knows? Who knows? There's so much time,
Right.
but there's not, you know?
Right.
Also, I guess he gets reelected because it goes on for so long.
Okay.
Just playing the long game, you know?
Sure.
I wonder if they're going to have a 9/11 type episode once that happens in real life. Anyways, those are my predictions. These are my
I've seen it.
predictions.
Predictions. I've seen it. So, I can't comment, can't confirm or deny. I can just say, Maggie, I love it when you make predictions.
I know, and sometimes they're right and sometimes they're real wrong.
But you know what? That's the fun of it.
But our leaders aren't perfect.
They aren't. They aren't perfect. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can check us out on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your podcast. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review.
And if you don't know what to say in your review, you could say, our leaders aren't perfect, but this podcast, gosh darn near is.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. These are my predictions.